We're at round 12 of the GNCC, the Buckwheat 100. This is the morning race. I am running the 50A Masters class. It's a beautiful morning here in Newburg, West Virginia. We're at CJ's Raceway, my hometown. I was raised here in Newburg. Last year, I was able to come out and race this race. I do have a video from our race last year. I kind of blame my good friend AW and Eric for hitting a tree. Well, I hit trees this year and they're nowhere on the property, so I guess I can't blame them. We'll find out more about that later. First, let's let the pro women take off. They're out hitting the trail. Next, it's going to be the Sportsman A class. There's about 40 of them. As Jesse Ansley is standing here, I guess he's got somebody on the line. If you're into the GNCC and want to watch behind the scenes, make sure you check out his YouTube. He does a vlog. The next class is to my right. This is the 45A class. And yes, I'm running the 50 Masters A class. There was close to 500 out here in the morning class. I'm back on my 2020 Beta 300RR two-stroke. It's a pretty quick starter, so that's one benefit of the two-stroke. Let's hit the track and see what the Buckwheat 100 is all about. And we're off, and to my right we got the Bills. We got Bill Ackerson and Billy Evans. Billy Evans gets the whole shot. I'm hot on his tail, trying to find a way to get around him without hitting the ground. Billy, I thought was going to go down, but he saved it somehow. And now we're off and trying to do the best we can here at the Buckwheat 100. Of course, on the first half of your race, you want to feel out your bike and try not to mess up like I just about did. You're seeing how well the traction is. You're feeling out your suspension. You're seeing how bad the roots, as this track had many of them out there. Billy is kind of gone. I need focus and not make that crazy mistake I usually do on the first lap. I have made some bike adjustments on this beta. I'm setting it up a little stiff at the beginning of the race because it was getting to the point where it was a little too soft at the end of the race. So I'm sacrificing a little bit as we're coming up out of the woods. Billy is gone. Got some trees hanging on to the bars. That is a distraction. So the way I'm going to do this video, I always like to try to get you one full lap. This first lap is not even a half lap. It's only a couple miles, so I'm not going to show much as far as what went on it. I do try to catch up with Billy. I've caught up with him. I'm going to try to get around him and lead the first lap. That was my main goal. My main goal actually was to try to get in the top 20. I've been running around 35th overall, and I've been everywhere from 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I haven't ran a lot of these GNCCs this year, but I've not won one. Competition is pretty stiff. I did get around Billy. I am currently in the lead at this point, but I know it's not going to take no more than one little slip up and they'll be back around me. As I come through the trees, past the Trail Seeker 1 and my pit crew root me on, and I'm heading to the finish. And then after that, I'll get you a full second lap, which is the actual full first lap. weather was pretty nasty yesterday. It rained most of the day. It was so bad I didn't even want to get my e-bike out on the track. So I walked most of what I was able to look at. It got pretty dry, pretty tacky, and then while I was out about the 6-mile marker, halfway through the track, it started pouring the rain down. It got so slimy I couldn't even stand up on this stuff. This is clay. It's kind of a clay and a sand mix. But today, it's pretty much prom. It dried out nice. No excuses on the track. The bike's feeling pretty good, other than for some odd reason this turn I overshot it every time. I don't know if it was just slick coming in there or I was just coming there too hot, but just about every lap I came in there too hot. This was one of the mud, I wouldn't really call it a mud hole. It was a muddy section right before the finish line. But we're about ready to wrap up this half lap or quarter lap, and then I'll get out and I'll show you the full second lap. It's going to be a good one. As I was saying, I was doing some tree hugging out there today, on this day, not today. Today is Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. It's pretty bad. I don't even know what day it is. But we're coming into the finish. And then we'll get you that full first lap, which is lap 2. Well, that's one lap in the books. Now let's do a full second lap to show you what this buckwheat is all about. In case you don't know, what is the buckwheat? Well, I'm about to tell you. Buckwheat is a flour-like substance. It's almost like a pancake. And here in Preston County, West Virginia, we have what you call the Buckwheat Festival. You can go in town and get your belly full of buckwheat cakes, sausage, and eggs. It is awesome. Some people can't stand them. We love them. And that, I guess, is why they call this race the Buckwheat 100. We just got done wrapping up the Buckwheat Festival in Kingwood, West Virginia. Now all you people are here visiting our state to race at CJ's Raceway. Now AW and let's just start up. AW and I just did the New East Coast buddy race here, and it was a mutter. And ever since then, this GoPro, I must have something screwed up in one of the mics. But sometimes it sounds good, sometimes you can't hear anything. So either I'm going to have to get that figured out, or it's time for a new GoPro. So I just want to explain, no, it's not your TV or your phone. My mic has had an issue, or my GoPro has had an issue since we had that mutter. But you can check out on Trail Seeker Adventures on YouTube, New East Coast Buddy Race. Fun time was had by all. Well, maybe not all. Some people don't like mud. AW and I, we had a blast. Other than his bike had issues. But yeah, still had a blast. So we're out here. The only bikes that are in front of me will be the 40A class. I think they call that a super senior. I was in that class once upon a time, many years ago. Well, not so many years ago, but the Sportsman A class and the Pro Women. So we have approximately about 50 people in front of me. Probably a little more than that, maybe 55, 60. So I'm going to try to pass as many as I can. As I was saying, my main goal is to get in the 20s, somewhere in the 20s overall, and try to get a win today. So far, so good. I'm first. I picked off a few riders and working my way up that overall scale. Overall, well, whatever you want to call it. The overall. So we're back in the woods. Little mud, tacked up pretty good, not too bad. We'll get out here in the field. There is a nasty little mud section and then a slick little bridge that we'll need to look out for. So we're coming down in the mud. I never came out and watched this with the youth. I should have, or the four-wheelers. This is the slick little bridge, but I went the long way around. Next lap I'll come down and I'll watch, I think actually one of the pro women go through right through the middle of it, and that's pretty much the line I picked all day. It has a pretty solid bottom. As I was saying, it was kind of sandy on top. Now here on the left, you'll see a guy laying in the ditch. That is a bad spot to be. Looks like he's a little slow crawling up out of the hole. But you come up out of there pretty fast, and if he was in the left lane, you would have jumped right into that hole. That's why on the first lap, you kind of want to be careful. I did actually get the e-bike this section today, which was race day, before the youth got out here and was ripping on it. As I was saying, we will get you this full lap, and then after that, if I passed a rider or a rider passed me, I had a little battle going on the second lap, and actually it's probably no, it was the third lap. The third lap I had a little battle going on with one of the bills, and I got a lot of that to show. And other than that, just the highlights. I got about 3.5 laps. Had some pretty fast sections on the field, which was kind of fun. But it was still pretty slick out here in the field. Last year I ran my RMZ 450, and actually I believe maybe this was the last time I ran my RMZ 450. Unless it was one of the SXCS races. I think I might have raced it there. And yes, this is a local track for us, even though some of the trails we've ran are locals on, but GNCC comes out and they pretty much design a whole new course on a lot of the trails out here. Other than the fields, the woods was pretty tight and technical. Not technical as far as rocks, but just a lot of turns, not a lot of options for passing. Had to be pretty patient. I was a little too patient in spots today. This track was kind of divided by a mountain range. We are on one side of the mountain and we are working our way to the back side of the mountain. This side of the mountain was a little more fast and flowy. The back side of the mountain was definitely tighter and had a lot more rocks and was a lot more technical. This side is more of what I'm used to riding as far as the locals. Even though I haven't ran a lot of locals out here recently, we did do the buddy race, but I don't think we was hardly on any of this trail. And And actually, I think the last time I ran this race was the New East Coast round 1, and there was snow and ice on the trail. And I raced both my dirt bike and my four-wheeler, so make sure you check out that video. That's very interesting. Talking about the fields being fast and flowy. Well, they was not on that day. They was snowy and icy. A lot of people was going down. Make sure you check that video out. That's one of the first videos that I came out with this year. So even though we ran this track a few spots here and there, it was definitely different conditions. One was complete mutter, and one was snow and ice. Actually, on the bike, well, on the four-wheeler, I broke a chain, did not finish. I was leading the 48 class at the moment on the four-wheeler, and then on the bike, I won and actually got top amateur, which was very surprising to me. Catching some of the Sportsman A guys, and how can I tell? Well, it's because of the helmet collar. They are a medium blue on the back, their sticker on the back of their helmet. The women are a bright pink, which is that helmet sticker right there. And the 45A class is a bright green. And my helmet sticker collar is a bright orange. As we're dropping down on the back side of this property, and this is where it gets kind of tight and technical. We got a little logging road here, and then that's when we drop down into where it's a little rocky. In case this is the first time you watch one of our videos, I always like to let you know what we're all about. We are Trail Seeker Adventures. Heidi and I, we bring our video camera, well, our GoPro. That's basically pretty much the entire fleet. Or fleet, no, it's our... Well, we got a GoPro and a drone, basically, and a computer. So we are pretty low budget, but we bring the camera, we bring it out to the trails no matter whether we're at a race event, a ride park, or a hiking trail, or a mountain bike trail, whatever it is that we get out and do, we bring the video camera. That way you can see what the trail is all about. And maybe, just maybe, you or your friends will be able to find a trail that's suitable for you. We've been to Croon Motorcycle Park. We've been out west on the trails. We've been to an indoor motocross arena in Butler, Pennsylvania. Hatfield, McCoy's. We've mountain biked Canaan Valley back to Moon Rock from Blackwater 100 days. We've been to snowshoe, both skiing or snowboarding, downhill mountain biking. If you ever wonder what that's all about, we bring the camera. That way you can see and find a trail that's suitable for you. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel, and that way you don't miss our next adventure. Now we're back on the back side of the mountain. you notice this guy, he has a green helmet sticker, and if you look at his bike, he looks exactly like another bike in our class. This will come up later on the end of this lap, actually. Make sure you stay tuned to find out what drama I create myself. So I do get a rounding. That was one of the sections that I did get out to walk and found a decent line through. And it benefited me most of the day, other than towards the end of the race, there was a bottleneck in there and I got tied up a little bit. But as you can see yourselves, this is very tight in here. I don't know how the four-wheeler guys, how they made passes in this area, but it is definitely a single track. Especially when you mess up. This was the section last year when I decided to run the RMZ 450 that I realized I made a mistake. With the 450, all these turns, slow, technical areas. Plus I was just getting over or coming back from a broken collarbone where I had a plate put in my collarbone. So this year it wasn't even a decision that I had to make, because I had already made it that day last year that I was not going to run a 450 on this track again. A friend of mine, Jared, was racing a four-wheelers the day before, and he was talking about a dip. I think that was it that he had an issue with. I think he got stuck or something, and he got off to get his bike unstuck, and when he pushed on it, it rolled down over the hill backwards, and he lost a couple positions on it. But I think that dip was the one. Coming past a checkpoint. GNCC has several different areas that they have scanners that scans your transponder to make sure that you're not out there skipping the track, just in case you've never raced and wonder what they're talking about as far as a checkpoint. That was one. was an optional hill climb here to the left, but they decided not to let the morning class run it, and this would have been the go around. So you basically would have had to go all the way around here and back to the top of the hill. I walked out. That's the main reason I walked out here, to look at that hill climb. And that was the last part of the track that I wanted to look at. And then they don't even run us on it, which probably isn't a bad idea. Sometimes, you know, I don't mind trying a hill climb, but if there's a bottleneck on it and you get stuck, but this one would have been worth trying it no matter what, because you're just now getting back to the top of the hill climb where the hill climb came back onto the trail. You would have lost probably a good 40 seconds if you didn't try the hill climb. It wasn't that bad. Actually, right there is where the 6 mile marker where it came back on. It wouldn't have been that bad of a hill climb unless somebody was stuck on it. Now I gotta say, this was one of my most this was one of my favorite spots on the track. It was pretty fast and flowy. We pretty much ran the same track last year. There was some little difference here and there, but we ran it the other way. We're running it clockwise this year. Last year we ran it counterclockwise. There was some changes on the property, so they had to make a few changes. Actually, that's one of the reasons I think they moved the start, because the landowner did some landscaping. Still currently first. I've passed several people. I'm thinking I'm in the top 20 somewhere, or at least the top 30. The bike's feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good. Everything's going the way I was hoping it would so far. You run it through your mind many times, like, okay, you got to get out there. You got to get aggressive out of the turns. And the last 2 or 3 months, my shoulder's been feeling better to the point to where I have been able to get out and ride. But the worst thing about it this time of year, you know, this is a 2-hour race. And most likely we'll be running about 2 hours and 20 minutes. So, but you get home from work, you get your bike out, and maybe you get an hour in. Well, these past races, I've been good for an hour and a half. It's that last half hour to 45 minutes that my shoulder starts falling apart, my bike starts feeling like crap, that I've been struggling with. Now this coal pile, I felt so flippin' slow through here. It did not flow right. It just wanted to buck me over the bars, I think, every time. And probably the problem is I'm just going too slow over it. I need to gas it and get up over it. But when you have a shoulder injury that's not completely healed, or you're still having issues, you don't want to jump no more than you have to, because it's those hard hits that really jars your shoulder, and I try to eliminate those as much as possible. Unfortunately, I plug a couple trees out here on this trail, and that is not good on the shoulder either. coming out of the woods, and this is right below the start. To the right there, that is where we started. And unfortunately, I didn't even know this little mud section was here. I had a goal of coming out here Friday and e-biking the entire track, trying to find as many hot lines as I could, but that didn't happen because it was a muddy mess. Coming back close to the start, right there straight ahead is where we were able to take off and start the day. Now we're coming back into this mud section. You want to eyeball it up real good, make sure you don't pick a spot that you're going to get stuck. Now we're coming back up the hill, and this is where Billy about slid out. This is turn 3, 4. And some of this you've already seen. This is coming out of the woods before the pro hill climb. If you know if you've been in this race, you heard about the pro hill climb. This is really close to the Trail Seeker 1, as Jared and some of my friends and family was rooting me on. Obviously, you always want to look good when you're out close to your pit area, because you know they're watching you somewhere. Unfortunately, yeah, I got through there looking pretty good, but I do something stupid very soon. Catching one of the pro women, but I also heard somebody behind me. This is another one of those checkpoints that were out in the field or out in the woods. I looked back and I swore I saw Billy Evans behind me. I'm like, what the crap? How's he catching me? I thought I was having a pretty good run. So at this point, I'm thinking somebody's hot on my track. So I'm going to pick it up and try to put this beta down the trail as fast as I possibly can. And we're coming down here. I had a pretty good line to the right here. This is actually where I passed Billy for the lead. I'm doing the exact same thing to this young lady. But now I got around here. I want to try to leave what I thought was Billy. This was a muddy little section. You could stay to the left like I did the first time, but you never know how deep that is. This was a for sure spot to get around. Got a little jacked up there, so I thought I gotta get some space. I gotta roll up through here. There's something in this stupid trail caught me, and then bam! Oh, that hurt. That hurt the shoulder, my lower back. I felt about every muscle in my lower back been pulled. This young man comes over and gets my bike. People, including Heidi right there to the right. Austin's to the left, and of course if I'm going to crash, I might as well crash right in front of everybody, so everybody can be a part of my experience and my embarrassment. I'm shaking my head, trying to figure out how bad I hurt myself. Jacked my shoulder, my lower back. My bike's twisted up, and now I got this in my head like, holy crap, I need to pull it together. But at the same time, I think I'm second, because the bike that I thought was Billy got around me, so I might as well try to pull it together and try to run him down. Unfortunately, I did jack my camera up a little bit. I think I straightened it out somewhere throughout the next lap. So unfortunately, you get to see my helmet up there bobbing around. Hitting a tree like that sometimes definitely makes things, well, it's just not good. It's just not good all around. So other than feeling stupid about plugging the tree right in front of my crew, I'm coming in. Pretty sure I'm second now. And I come through the finish and I look and I'm like, what? That says I'm still first. That's not right. I'm not believing that. I thought something wrong with Billy's transponders not working. How in the world am I still first? But my goal is to come out here. Well, there's a ditch right here. You could hop it. But I don't hop things. Come rolling through the mud. This is the new line I found. I pretty much ran it all day. Trying not to crash on the bridge. And I look up here and I see Billy. I'm like, oh, I can run him down. Stay to the right here. You don't want to lay into that hole. I already learned that. At least I didn't do that. So I do catch back up with the pro lady, pro women, pro woman, pro lady that I passed before I hit the tree. Let a young man around me. Now, obviously, as you can see, I am not doing this full lap. This is lap 3, and I'm just doing the highlights. So if I've seen somebody, I try to put them in the video. If something exciting happens, I try to put them in the video. Now, I'll follow this pro lady probably a little too long. I catch up with her and I'm just like, man, she's rolling. I was just really impressed how smooth she was. But eventually I get to the point like, okay, I got things that I gotta do. I gotta catch the guy in front of me. I can't just be sitting back here and admiring this lady's riding skills. I gotta get moving. So I do get around her. We're back on the back side of the mountain where it gets a little tight and technical, and I look ahead of me and who do I see? I see that guy that I thought was Billy and in my class. And well, here he is. It's not Billy. It's the guy that I passed pretty much exactly the same spot the lap before that was in the 45A class. So I was in a hurry, made a stupid mistake for no apparent reason. He lets me around, no problem. Now I'm like, okay, maybe I am still first. I better get moving. And try not to screw up again.
Hi.
backside coming past the checkpoint that we saw earlier. The backside, as you can tell, it is getting a little congested, and sometimes I feel I'm a little too patient. This two-stroke, for one thing, it's a little quiet. I've had two strokes behind me. Actually, I've had my good friend AW behind me, and I didn't even know he was back here, and he's an aggressive rider. Now on a four-stroke, they're a little louder. They hear you coming. They're more likely to get out of your way. But on these, especially these 300s and the betas even, are pretty quiet. So you come up on people and they don't even realize it, and it's not their fault. I don't want to mess their race up, but I do something stupid, of course. I come over here, which would have been a pretty good plan. I would maybe look like not so much of a fool, but there's a log in there, and I got stuck. Well, now I got somebody else behind me, and I'm like, okay, I don't think it's that same guy that got around me the first time. I think it's somebody in my class. I had this line, which was stupid, and yep, there's the other Bill Ackerson. As you can see, he's got a bright orange sticker, and he is in my class. So now I know I'm currently second. I need to pick it up. I've ran with him several times, and now I need to try to match his pace. But he also has to fight the same traffic as I do. I just gotta learn and try to do it a little quicker than he does. Kind of sucks getting past, especially when you're leading the race, but it's kind of cool also to have somebody about your same pace that you can get out here and just rip back and forth. I mean, he's just right there, and I'm not really trying to get up here and pressure him. I'm just following, not to make a dumb mistake. And be honest with you, with this 300, I'm not even sure if he knows I'm still back here. He probably thinks he's left me, and I kind of want that. I kind of want him to forget about me, think that he's already left me behind, and I'm just going to sit back here, just a safe distance to watch him, and try to wait for him to make that one mistake, which I usually make mistakes, so hopefully he'll make a mistake, and then get around him and then try to run away from him. There's been so many times you follow somebody and you're like, man, I'm faster than they are. I'm just waiting for the right thing, and then you right time to get around them, and then you get around them, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to leave them. And then it's a lap later, you make one little dab, you make one stupid mistake, and they're right back around you. Thought for sure he would lead me across his coal pile or whatever that stuff is. Well, he didn't. He was just about as slow as I was through that. But I'm out here in the mud hole. I was hoping maybe he might got stuck in it just long enough for me to get around him. That didn't happen. I gotta give it to him. He never looked back once. He was racing the race ahead of him, not behind him. I thought for sure that he was going to look back and see me and then maybe try to sprint away from me again. But he never looked back once, and I honestly don't think he knows I'm back here. It's probably been a good 4 miles I've been following him. We're back here below the start, trying to work our way through the mud hole. Now, I'm not too far behind him. I see him. I'm feeling good. The bike's feeling good, other than it's a little twisted up. My lower back was hurting from hitting the tree, but that's kind of went away. My shoulders, it's starting to hurt a little bit. I want to tell everybody thanks for rooting me on out there. I had several people giving me encouragements, and I need that out here on the old trail. I come in here, I see him go through this little line. Ooh. I don't know, I must be fatter than him because I did not. I hit one tree, knocked me into another tree, and that was only maybe 6 or 7 seconds, but it definitely jarred my shoulder, took the steam right out of took the wind right out of my sails, and basically I do see him a few times. I come through the finish line. No, that's not him. That's another rider in red. I was getting my hopes up as well. But I ended up second for the day. I think I was like 35th overall again. I think the last 3 races. That's about the same area that I ran at the end of the day. Billy was able to come in 21st overall, just one spot back from the top amateur. I believe old Fridley, he's a local, he got 20th overall. He was the top amateur, but Billy Atkinson got first. I got second. Patrick Davis got third. Alan Brown got fourth, and Billy Evans dropped back to fifth. I think he has the same issue. Talking to him as I have not been able to ride a lot lately, so we both kind of fall back at the end. Heidi gives me my drink, which come to find out, I was going to have to stop for gas. All year last year I was able to run this bike for 2 hours, whether it's GNCC or local, but she's getting down there to where I am not able to run a full race. I don't know if I'm running harder or if I'm just got the bike running a little richer. I'm not sure, but I was not even sure I was going to make it back to the pits after I got through the finish line here, but I did, filled back up. It really wouldn't have mattered. I think Billy gained a few minutes on me, but make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. This is about the end of the video. That way you won't miss our next adventure. Push the little red icon on the bottom right hand side if you're on a mobile device, or pick the subscribe button right here, and please subscribe. Thanks for watching.